Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat, you'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs, they go tick tick. Boom, you blown, leave that head missing. I'm a phenomenon, stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move.
Hello, you lovely cubs. It's the Dragon Lord here, back with another What If for you. What if Tandro had hellflame? Yep, sorry for dropping a new series on you when we still have a lot of them to finish, but I felt like making it, so here it is. Yeah, kind of just what if Tandro had hellflame, you know, the quirk from Endeavor. Fits right, because, you know, just fits. So anyway, join the Discord because we'd love to have you there, and if you can hit that like and subscribe button as it helps out the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. At their family home, the Commodores had just gotten another child. A child that would change this world forever. A child that could shake the world to its very core. That child's name is Tanjiro Commodore. His parents, Tanjiro and Kie, were holding their firstborn in awe, as they knew he was gonna be an amazing child. We skip forward a year when the Commodore family has another child, this time a girl named Nezuko. Right off the bat, it was evident that Tandro and Nezuko were inseparable, the two being nearly always together for the following years to come. Then one day, whilst playing with his sister, a now 4-year-old Tandro caught on fire. His sister screamed in horror as his parents came outside seeing the flames. Kie fell to her knees, unable to move, but Tanjiro quickly used the snow to extinguish the fire. To his surprise, there was Tanjiro, unharmed. The parents looked at each other confused as they didn't comprehend what just happened. As Tanjiro tugged his dad's kimono, his father, looking over to see what it was, saw Tandro holding a fire in his hand, controlling it as if he had been doing so for years. "He was gifted by the heavens," Kie would say as she started crying out of happiness. However, Tanjiro thought that this must have been the Hinokami Kagura. Every time he performed the dance, he could feel the warmth of a fire. His father smiled as he patted his son. A few weeks later, on New Year's, his father would perform the Hinokami Kagura, as he wanted Tanjiro to see it. The boy found the dance even more breathtaking as he wanted to learn it. His father agreed to teach the boy. Tanjiro made sure to teach Tanjiro about breathing as it was the most vital part of the dance. The boy would learn the steps of the dance, but as time went on, he had moved on from the dance to help his family. His father's illness had become too bad, and the young boy didn't want to put any more stress on his father. One particular night, Tanjiro was sitting next to his father. "Tanjiro, when I pass on, I want you to inherit these earrings," he would say in a calm tone. Tanjiro was surprised but understood his father's wishes. "Also, I would love for you to keep training your abilities," his father would say exhaustedly. Tanjiro remembered that he controlled fire when he was younger, but he hasn't done anything with it further since back then. His father also told him to breathe, but he didn't get the meaning behind this. "Become strong so you can protect your family, Tanjiro," his father would say, closing his eyes as he was mumbling. "Of course, father. You can rest easy. I'll protect our family," Tanjiro would say, being the good son he is. His father didn't respond, however, and that's when Tanjiro noticed. His father had stopped breathing. Tears started welling up as the young boy was looking at his father's now deceased body. The tears started hitting the floor as the boy couldn't hold it back. He was crying. Eventually, his mother came into the room. When she realized, she hugged Tanjiro as she was also crying. The next morning, he dug a grave for his father and paid their respects too. The youngest of the family, all crying. But yet Tanjiro couldn't cry. He had his father's last words in his head. The next day, he went out further into the forest. He started trying to bring out that fire ability he had when he was young, but yet he just couldn't. Eventually, a small flame popped up from his fingertip, as he was delighted about this. He kept training after finishing his chores, and before he knew it, 2 years had passed. A now 10-year-old Tandro was using his flames whilst doing the Hinokami Kagura dance. It was his version of the dance without a sword. He was enjoying himself as he felt closer to his father who had performed the dance when he was younger. Whilst doing the dance, a crack was heard as Tandro got scared in case it was a bear, as he accidentally shot a fire blast over in the direction. He then heard a scream. The voice was familiar to him. It was his sister. He ran over to her. She was unconscious. He had hit her arms as it was badly injured, and the shock had probably made her pass out. The boy quickly picked up his sister and ran home. He got to his mother, who treated the wound. That night, Tanjiro got quite the scolding about using his powers, but a now awake Nezuko came into the room, as she took some of the blame for following him. Their mother ended up just hugging them, saying how she doesn't want to lose them. The two children knew their mother's burden, so they just apologized. Nezuko, however, spoke up. "Can I see brothers dance again? Just one more time, please?" Nezuko asked. "What dance?" Kie asked curiously. "Father's dance. Tanjiro was doing father's dance," the young girl answered happily. Next day, Tanjiro performed the dance for the family, using his father's wooden blade as he performed the Hinokami Kagura. When he finished, he ran over to his family. His mother, in tears, thanked him as she got to see the amazing dance once again. And the children were all in awe. The way their brother controlled the fire was amazing in their eyes, so they swarmed their brother asking how he did it. He didn't have an answer, though. To him, the fire felt kind of natural, and he just didn't have an answer for them. Tandro, after playing with his siblings for a bit, ran up to his mother. As they hugged, the other siblings joined in shortly after. Tandro decided to start helping out more than before, as he wanted to lift his mother's burden. He would cut wood, make trips down to the village to sell charcoal, take care of his siblings, and every so often he would even prepare food, having to get creative from time to time. He would do all this while keeping up his training as he promised his father, learning how to control his fire abilities whilst also becoming stronger physically. Sometimes his family would watch him train. 2 years passed by in a flash as Tanjiro would be quite strong. He has learned greater control of his fire abilities, and he has even learned breathing to an extent. The Kamado family was doing quite well, Tanjiro making quite a few trips down to the town and even making trips to other towns to sell charcoal. It gave them enough money to live peacefully. Tanjiro's 12th birthday came up and his mother decided to get him a gift. When he came home from training, he saw his siblings sitting around the dinner table. In the middle of the table, there was a long box. "Happy birthday, Tanjiro! We got you this gift," Nezuko would say, pushing the box closer to the boy. He opened it and found a katana, its scabbard being black with a fire pattern on it. The boy would be in awe as he unsheathed the blade, holding it up. "Are you sure I can have something like this? It seems expensive," Tanjiro would say, worried. "Yes, you are always here to help us with everything. Plus, you can use it in training instead of the sticks you've been using," his mom would say with a smile. The boy cried tears of happiness as he hugged his siblings. They partied for the rest of the day, some of the villagers making the long trip to wish him a happy birthday as well. Tanjiro continued his training, now using his new sword to train. For the next year, Tanjiro learned how to wield the blade better, getting some skill with it. He expanded his knowledge of his fire powers too, as he learned that he could make a fire spear with it to throw it. He dubbed it the Ignited Arrow. He learned how to fly with his power to some extent as well, and figured out how to coat his body and objects in fire. His sister Nezuko ended up naming the fire Hellflame, and Tanjiro liked it, so they kept the name. After finishing his training, he went to sell charcoal at the nearby village. His siblings were sad that he was going, as they wanted to play with him. Nezuko, carrying Tanjiro's youngest sibling, walked up to him, as she told him that she'll see him later. Tanjiro made his way down the mountain as he went to sell charcoal. He kept his sword on him as he felt more comfortable with it. The day passed by quite quickly as he ended up selling all of his charcoal and helping all of the villagers. It ended up becoming night as Tanjiro was about to head back up the mountain. Tanjiro, you shouldn't be going back up the mountain late at night, an older looking villager would say. I'll be alright, Saburo-san. I'm not weak and I'll be home in a few minutes, Tanjiro would say, showing off his firepower. The old man decided to let Tanjiro go after thinking about it for a few minutes. So Tanjiro went as he started to walk up the mountain. 20 minutes after walking and now 10 minutes away from his house, he smelled something. What is that? He thought to himself, although he quickly realized he smelled blood. He rushed at maximum speed towards his house, at this point flying, arriving after only half a minute had gone by. There he saw a man standing above his bloodied sister, pouring his blood onto them. The man looked over at Tanjiro as he began to speak. Another cattle to be slaughtered, he would say. Tandro, however, was still trying to comprehend what happened, and when it finally snapped to him, he realized this man had killed his family. Tanjiro roared in anger, fire quickly enveloping his body and melting the snow in the area. Instantly, he grabbed his sword as he drew it out, making a fire arc. The man that stood before him was terrified. Tanjiro at full speed rushed towards the man, who was frozen out of fear, but before Tanjiro could strike him, the man fled at great speeds. Tandro, seeing the sight of his dead family, was crying whilst the flames became hotter and hotter. Shortly after, he passed out from overheating. He woke up in the morning, as he thought, why? Why us? But that's when he heard it. He heard breathing. He realized that his sister Nezuko was still breathing. He quickly grabbed her as he started running down the mountain. If he could get her to a doctor in time, she could survive, right? But whilst running, she started to move, making them fall off the side of the mountain. Tanjiro reacted too late and couldn't slow his fall. But when he opened his eyes, he was fine. The snow had cushioned the fall. He looked over to find Nezuko as she was standing up. He quickly ran over to help his sister, but instead she attacked him. Snap out of it, Nezuko, he would say, holding her back. Tears started forming in his eyes as he thought about all the fun times they had when they were younger. He realized that the man had turned Nezuko into a demon. He had learned about demons from the children's stories that his mother told him. Furthermore, he had learned from the older villagers that demons existed. Nezuko then stopped attacking as well, as tears began falling from her eyes as well when she saw Tanjiro's tears. In that split second, Tanjiro pushed his sister down and his hair got cut. There was a man standing there holding a sword. Do you know what that thing is that you are protecting? The man would say. Tanjiro would reply, She's my sister. No, she's a demon, and my job is to slay demons, the man would say, charging at Tanjiro. Tanjiro tried to duck to protect his sister, but when he opened his eyes again, his sister was gone. In a moment, I'm gonna decapitate your sister, the man would say, pointing his sword at Nezuko. Tanjiro started to cry as he couldn't do anything. He bowed and begged for his sister's life to be spared. Please don't kill my sister, he would say, crying. The man got agitated as he yelled at Tanjiro. If you want to protect her, then fight. Tanjiro got lost in thought. He trained to protect his family, yet he couldn't. But now that his sister is in danger, he's not doing anything about it. He stood up as he drew his sword. His body got engulfed in fire straight away, melting all the snow in the area. The man was surprised he hadn't seen something like this before. Tanjiro took a breath. Right away the man realized that this was a breath indicating a breath style. Hinokami Kagura, he would say, blasting forward, as red and orange flames formed the dragon. The man, barely dodging, jumped away. You've got some skill with the sword, I see. My name is Giyu Tomioka. Now come at me, the man would say. Giyu didn't realize, however, Tandro wasn't after him. He was after his sister, as Nezuko was standing next to him. She was in awe at the flames and the dance Tanjiro did. It snapped her back to her senses as she took a battle stance. This surprised Giyu. The two of them split up, attacking from both the left and the right side. As they attacked Giyu at the same time, the demon slayer barely blocked her attacks. Giyu quickly counterattacked, kicking Tanjiro against the tree, making the boy pass out. Nezuko quickly went over to protect her brother, but she also got dealt with quickly. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm gonna cut it off for this episode. If you guys enjoyed, consider subscribing and liking the video, and comment down below what you thought of it as well. Yeah, this series is gonna be amazing and a whole lot of fun to make. But okay, so quickly before I end the video as well, I'm just gonna say I ended it on a shorter notice today because I want to see if people like the series before I actually put more time into it. Kind of like, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, or well, what if Rimuru had solo leveling? I mean, So yeah, before I put more time into this series, I want to see if people actually enjoy it. So if you do enjoy it, comment down below what you thought of it, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to, you can join the Discord. I'm going to be in the Discord more often. I'm going to be more active on Discord. If you talk in general chat in Discord or invite me to a VC to talk, I'll join probably. Just don't be weird. And yeah, I'll see you lovely cubs in the next video. This was the Dragon Lord, and I'm signing out.
Tell me a story.
There was once a pale man with dark hair who was very lonely.
Why was it lonely?
All things must meet this man, so they shunned him.
Did he chase them all?
He took an axe and split himself in two, right down the middle.
So he would always have a friend.
So he would always have